History often remembers the leaders who declared wars, the generals who drew lines on maps, and the nations that claimed victory, but history rarely pauses to remember the soldier, the one who actually carried the weight of war on his shoulders, the one who stood in the mud, the dust, and the fire while the world watched from a distance, because war is not fought in offices or speeches. It is fought by soldiers, ordinary men placed in extraordinary situations, men who wake before dawn, march through uncertainty, and move forward even when fear tells them to stop. A soldier's journey begins long before the battlefield. It begins with a decision, a choice to leave behind family, comfort, and safety, and step into a life ruled by discipline and duty. Training teaches him how to walk, how to shoot, how to follow orders, but no training can fully prepare him for the moment when bullets fly overhead, when explosions shake the ground beneath his feet, and when survival becomes a matter of seconds, because at that moment, the soldier is not thinking about medals or history, he is thinking about the man beside him, the mission ahead, and the promise he made when he put on the uniform. Throughout history, soldiers have fought in every possible condition. Ancient warriors marched with swords and shields. Roman soldiers crossed continents on foot, carrying heavy armor under burning suns and freezing nights. That Spartans were raised to believe that retreat was worse than death. Mongol fighters rode endlessly across vast lands, driven by loyalty and survival. Their weapons were simple, but their burden was heavy, because even then, soldiers knew that once a battle began, there was no guarantee of return, only the certainty that someone would pay the price. As warfare evolved, the burden on soldiers only grew heavier. During the First World War, soldiers lived underground in trenches filled with mud, water, rats, and disease. Days blurred into nights as artillery roared endlessly. Gas attacks stole breath and hope, and fear became a constant companion. Soldiers wrote letters home by candlelight, trying to sound brave, trying to hide the horror around them. Many of those letters were never delivered, because the hands that wrote them never held a pen again, and, for those who survived, the war followed them long after the guns fell silent. The Second World War pushed soldiers into battles on a global scale. From the beaches of Normandy to the frozen ruins of Stalingrad, soldiers faced machine gun fire, bombings, hunger, and unbearable cold. Yet what kept them moving forward was not strategy alone. It was brotherhood, the unspoken bond between soldiers who shared fear, exhaustion, and hope. They fought not only for their country, but for the man next to them, because in war, survival often depends on trust, and that trust is forged in moments of extreme danger. Modern warfare brought advanced technology, tanks, jets, drones, and night vision equipment, but it did not remove the human cost. Today's soldiers fight in cities where danger hides in plain sight, where every street, every doorway, every sound can mean life or death. Decisions must be made in seconds, and mistakes are unforgiving. And when the mission ends and the soldier returns home, the war does not always end with him. Memories linger, silence becomes heavy, and battles continue in the mind long after the battlefield is left behind. Many soldiers carry wounds that cannot be seen, post-traumatic stress, guilt, and memories that return without warning. Society often celebrates the victory, but forgets the cost paid by those who made it possible. Some soldiers receive medals and recognition, but many do not. Medics who run toward gunfire to save lives, prisoners of war who endure years of captivity, soldiers who never make it home and whose names fade into history. Their sacrifices are known only to their families, yet the safety and freedom others enjoy are built on those silent sacrifices. War is often explained through numbers, casualties, territories gained or lost, but numbers cannot capture the sound of a soldier's heartbeat before battle, the weight of a rifle held with shaking hands, or the final thoughts that pass through the mind when everything is on the line. Soldiers are not machines. They are sons, fathers, brothers, and friends, each carrying a life story interrupted by war, and when they fall, a future falls with them. Leaders may start wars and generals may plan them, but soldiers live them. They endure the cold nights, the endless marches, the fear, And the loss, they are the ones who stand between chaos and safety, often without recognition, often without applause. And when flags are raised and speeches are made, soldiers quietly move on, carrying memories that will never fully fade. Because peace, as history shows, is never free. This story is not about one soldier. It is about all soldiers, past and present, known and unknown, those who returned and those who did not, those who stand guard tonight while the world sleeps. Their courage does not always appear in books, but it is written in every moment of peace we experience, because soldiers are not just participants in war. They are the true face of it, and their sacrifices are the reason history continues forward. Soldiers are not remembered for how loudly they speak, but for how firmly they stand. And in the silence they leave behind, the world continues to live.